Okay, hello and welcome. My name is David, and this is my review on Dune Part 2. That's right, Dune Part 2. It just came out. It's the follow-up movie to Dune Part 1 from 2021. And boy, was it bad. It's probably the worst. It's just, oh my god. Okay, let's get to it. All right, so let's preface this back to the year 2021. It was July, and I was midway through my master's in entertainment business, and I was in my digital marketing class. And my professor for my digital marketing class, he actually works for the marketing team for Warner Brothers, particularly the DC universe type stuff, DCEU, whatever the fuck they called it. Anyhow, but he got tasked to do. He was talking to the class about stuff, and they just released the first real trailer, not the one that they did with Tenet, but the one that was the first real trailer for Dune. And he basically he was the one that actually wrote out the keywords in the description for he was the one that wrote out the keywords in the description for the actual trailer on YouTube. So yeah, so he started breaking everything down to us, like on how they were using the metrics and the analytics to, I guess, sculpt the film. And so when it was finally released at the end of 2021, I remember walking out of the theater going, "Oh my god, this was okay. It wasn't really bad, but it wasn't really good. I mean, nothing stood out to me. Like the Harkonnens really didn't seem as depraved and everything like they are in the original movie and in the books. So I actually had to ask him I had a question about some other stuff, but when I sent him the email, I was like, hey, I just don't feel like this was a movie made by committee, because it wasn't really cutting edge, I guess you could say. I mean, as far as yeah. And then Rebecca Ferguson was on some show, one of the talk shows, talking about she was so happy that they got rid of a bunch of the misogyny from the book, and I was just like, well, that's kind of the point. that's what makes a lot of this stuff work. So when you take away their fallacies, then you're left with, I mean, I don't understand. So here we are, 3 years later, and maybe a little over 2, and we get this movie. We get Dune Part 2, and I went in. I didn't even realize it was coming. It was out. I just kind of found out like a day or two before that it was out, and so I went in, kind of hoping that maybe now that they got to make the second movie, maybe they wouldn't be as safe, So anyhow, the movie starts and it picks up right where we left off, which was fine. But the thing is this part of the book, this last half of the book, it takes place over a matter of years, right? And it starts off right where he's like, yeah, I know you're pregnant with my sister, blah blah blah. And now they're all talking and they set it up for her taking the water of life, which is right at the beginning of the movie. It's a couple scenes in, she's already becoming the Fremen's Reverend Mother, and yeah, so Alia's she's pregnant with Alia. She takes the water of life. We already know that Alia's gonna have all she's already remembering. She's sentient, I guess, or whatever you call like she's aware, she has all the memories of the past of her mothers and everything too. And so, oh God. So yeah, so that's pretty much the last you really hear of it. They kind of talk throughout the movie and stuff, but she's never, I forgot about it as the movie went on. And then we get to and then there's the Harkonnen stuff in this one was better. It wasn't, it was, I don't know. Maybe they were just pushing as far as they could for ratings or whatever. But I mean, Austin Butler as Fade Rotha was a kind of a good choice, I think. I don't have any problems with him other than he just seems to be in every fucking movie right now. But yeah, the stuff on the Harkonnen planet I thought was pretty cool. Except for the fireworks stuff, I thought looked really composited. I mean, it was a cool idea, but I thought it could have looked better. And yeah, Fade's like all, he's all killing everyone around him, like when they give him his stuff. So I like that. So then they got Florence Pugh as Princess Erlin, who was like, in the books she writes all the prefaces or whatever, not prefaces, but the quotes that are before each chapter or most of the chapters throughout the series. And then you got Christopher Walken as the Emperor, which I'm like, was that supposed to be some kind of inspired casting? Because he's just Christopher Walken. He doesn't give off vibes of an emperor. Like he's got that monarchy thing on lock or whatever. He's just like Christopher Walken in a robe. And that's the other thing. It's like, some of the wardrobe is pretty good. And some things just seemed like they just kind of were it just was his wardrobe. And then they get to so all this stuff is happening. All of this jihad and or whatever you want to call it, the friend, in this movie, Paul is just he gets taken into the Fremen, and then there wasn't really any training. I didn't feel like he was training them in the ways of Gurney. And when they got Gurney, it was Gurney was just all hell bent on killing the freaking Harkonnens and stuff, but there wasn't any. I didn't see any there was no training montage or something there really should have been. And then when you finally get to the final scene, and this is where you're just riding into a freaking head first into a brick wall because all of a sudden in the book Chani, he explains to Chani hey, I have to go marry this princess so I can maintain cohesion throughout the houses. But in this, he just says, hey, Chani, guess what? I'm going to love you forever, babe. I'm going to love you. Chani, I'm going to love you forever. And then he gets up, and and he says, hey, I'm going to marry your daughter to the Emperor. I mean, it's and so then Chani is all fucking pissed off. Yeah. She's fucking, I don't get it. I don't get what, so that's it. So yeah. So then, Chani gets all pissed off. She doesn't know what the fuck's going on. The movie literally ends with her getting ready to go catch a sandworm, and then it's bam, black Denis Villeneuve. So, and then, so she doesn't, that's the whole thing. And then he's telling the Emperor, hey, I'm taking over, blah, blah, blah. And the Emperor's so pick your champion. And then, Fade Rotha just happens, it's Fade Rotha just happens to be there. And then they fight, and then they it was an okay fight. I mean, it wasn't, I was expecting. That's why it was important to see the training, because this is the moment where Paul fucking really gives it to him, and it's kind of like a draw, other than fucking Fade dies, but Paul gets stabbed, and it's like the whole thing was he supposed to bend like a reed and get away from his secret weapon, his secret dagger or whatever thing that was coming out of his, and so that's just not. And then Paul doesn't really feel like he's I don't feel like there was any growth, really. I just see. In fact, when he says that to Chani, "Hey, babe, I'm gonna love you forever," he just seems like he's he just seems like a teenager. So I just, so there you go. So then, but now here we come to the whole thing. Like I said, I forgot all about Jessica being pregnant, right? So right before the big fight with Fade and everything, Paul tells the Baron Harkonnen that he's his grandfather, and then he stabs him and everything. But that's all of a sudden I was like, wait a second. That's when I realized, where's Alia? Because she was never freaking born. So then they end. He's like Paul says something like, "Hey, tell my sister I said hi," or something, because she's still pregnant. And when you see the fetus, it's it still looks like it's a fetus. It doesn't look like it's about it's almost ready to be birthed. But anyhow, so they're she's like, yeah, and then and the reason why that is a problem in so many ways is because it limits the scope of the movie, of what the movie was. So basically, they did everything in this movie in a matter of weeks, maybe a few months. Right? Because if it was if Alia would have been born, would have grown up, and then and that was the other thing. Chani and Paul were supposed to have Leto 1, and then he dies during one of the battles, and then that's why in the next book she gives birth to the twins, to Leto 2 and whatever the sister's name is. But no, that's all it's just I just walk out of the movie theater, my head just about to explode. Because it's what did you just do? You just totally messed up the whole continuity. All of my favorite parts of the book were now gone. And then I'm thinking back to this was probably done by committee. They probably were yeah, we can't, after Twilight and their whole whatever they did with the ugly CG baby or whatever, maybe they were just yeah, we're not going to go that way. But it's just there's so much integral stuff that needed to be kind of laid down for the next book, for the next movie. And it's just they get to the end and then they just blow it all up. I'm just, and I know I'm just wondering how much of this was Warner Brothers trying to do whatever they could to get a hit, after Flash and Aquaman 2 and all the other Blue Beetle, all the money they've been bleeding. Good. Yeah, you guys got it made, but now I have to live with it. And I'm not probably ever going to watch it again. And I hope you don't either. So, all I can say is Dune 2. It's really shitty. Shitty. It's a shitty movie. Shitty. And I don't want you to watch it or any of your friends. Okay. Hey, so there'll be more content like this. I'm planning on doing Warhammer book reviews here soon. I'm making painting videos on my my Warhammer army that I'm building, my army of Terminators. So yeah. Anyhow, I'll see you on the next one. I hope you guys like this. Please like and subscribe. There'll be more content coming. Just like Billy Mitchell.